I hope everything is good morning everyone. Good morning to all of you. So good to see. Good morning everyone. Okay, so this session, okay, okay. So this session is also going to go in YouTube. So let me see if it is live streaming or the everything is fine from the YouTube side also. So just let me check, okay? Okay, so let me share the screen. Okay. So I hope the screen is visible, and for the YouTube students also, I hope everything is fine. Let me take the good to go from the YouTube students also. Okay. So I think everything is fine. Okay. Let's get started. Good morning, everyone. So this is the RBI Grade B live crash course for the phase 2. And in the phase 2, as you know, there is finance, management, and ESI, that is economics and social issues. So we are starting with the ESI static. As you know that the in the ESI there is more weightage of the current affairs, but you cannot ignore the static part. You cannot ignore the static part because from the static part also the questions can come. The basic and direct questions can come. Okay. So we will be discussing the static part in around 12 classes. We will be trying to finish the ESI static. Okay. And we will be doing the part that is important from the examination point of view. Okay. So we are starting with the ESI static, where we have to do the basic and overall coverage. Basic and overall coverage is required in the ESI static. So we are starting with this part, okay? Okay. So what is the goal? Let's do the basic orientation first. So this is going to be a few slides of the orientation. Then we will be starting with the topic for today, that is measurement of growth. So first of all, how we will be covering the ESI. As I've told you that only the basic and the overall understanding is required in the ESI static. So how we will be covering the ESI static. So first of all, what you can expect. The classes for ESI static are going to be from 24th October till 6th November. The Sundays are off. So around 12 classes are there. Around 12 classes are there for the ESI static, okay, which will cover around 20 to 24 chapters of yours, okay. So you can understand that in 12 classes we will be going a little faster because we have to cover a lot of topics, but the basic idea is that overall coverage is required in ESI static, not too much in depth. Okay. So what you can expect, first of all, we will be doing the basic level. We will be doing the overall coverage. Just a second. Okay. So we will be doing the overall coverage of the topics that is required from the examination point of view. Okay. So overall coverage of the topics we will be doing, and this is what is required from the examination point of view. You do not have to go too much in depth because that is not required from the examination point of view. So you have to study. It's not like that in economics you have to do PhD, or in social issues chapters you have to do PhD. You have to study what is required from the examination point of view, especially at this point of time where you have to focus on management static, finance static, ESI static, current affairs of finance, and the ESI current affairs, schemes, and reports. So many of the things are there. So in ESI static, what is required that we will study. Okay. Next is direction to your preparation. So these sessions, they will give the direction to your preparations, as we will be discussing the most important topics from the examination point of view, as well as we will be discussing the PYQ, so that you understand that what kind of questions have come in the previous years and what kind of questions can come in the future. Okay. You are well equipped with everything. You are getting the live classes. With the live classes, you are also getting the summary sheets so that you can revise through the summary sheet. You are also getting the quiz for your practice. Okay, chapter wise quiz is there, as well as the solved previous year question is also provided to you, in which there is solved previous year question of objective as well as descriptive part. Okay, so you are well equipped with everything. You are going to get everything that is required. Okay. Next, language is going to be English because this is how we have told you in the website also. And while you were getting the course, it was informed to you that the finance management and ESI, they will be in English. Okay. So that everyone can understand, even the people that do not understand Hindi. Okay. Now, objective classes, there are going to be ESI objective classes as well as descriptive classes. For descriptive classes, we have kept separate classes so that you can practice the descriptive questions in detail. Okay. So in these sessions, in the ESI sessions that we are conducting right now, the 12 classes, we will discuss the ESI concepts, with which we will be discussing the objective questions, the PYQs and such. For your for your ESI descriptive, there will be separate classes. For your FM descriptive, for your ESI descriptive, there will be separate classes, okay? Because in ESI descriptive, it is not only static. You have to mix the static knowledge with your current affairs knowledge, okay? So ESI descriptive classes will be separately conducted. So there are separate descriptive classes so that you have a good hold over the descriptive answer writing. This is the idea. Any confusion anyone has till now? Any confusion? Okay. Now, see. Okay. Nice. So what we require is discipline. You have to show up even on your bad days. So there are going to be classes for your ESI, for your finance, for your management. So you have to show up even on your bad days, because discipline is what is required in these 40 to 45 days before the phase 2. If like when you clear the phase 1, the next step is your phase 2. If you clear the phase 2, you have a good chance of becoming the RBI Grade B officer, because the next step will be interview, and after that you become the RBI Grade B officer. So in between the phase 1 to phase 2, you have to put all your efforts, because you have, like, phase 1 itself is a very complicated paper. You have cleared that phase 1. So now you should be putting your heart out, and there should be discipline, okay, in your preparation from phase 1 to phase 2. So discipline, you have to show up even on your bad days. Your efforts is what matters with our efforts. So not like we will be showing up, I will be coming for my sessions, Jalasar will be coming for his sessions, Jiskaran sir will be coming for his sessions. We will be coming sharp at 7:30, but it is your efforts with our efforts that will matter. We cannot do anything alone. I can just tell you the concepts, but not more than that. Okay. You have to put your effort. Okay. So if you want to reach your target, if you want to become the RBI Grade B officer, kindly show up in the classes. If you think that you have already covered such kind of classes, or you have already covered the ESI part, then read the summary sheet, revise, give the MCQs and such. I'm not compulsorily asking you to come to the ESI sessions. If you have already covered the ESI through the recorded classes, or you are from UPSC background, you already know the ESI topics, or you are from economics background, you already know the topics, you already have the idea about the topics and such, then there is no requirement of coming to the class if you do not feel like it. But do revise through the summary sheet, do give the quiz, as well as do see the solve previous year question. Okay. So this is what is required. Your efforts is what matters with our efforts. Okay. Now, what we will be covering in the ESI? Yes, NABARD ESI is also similar to the RBI ESI, because most of the topics are same. There are only a few topics that is different in NABARD and ESI. Okay. So if you are preparing for NABARD for ESI, then your RBI Grade B ESI is also getting covered. Okay. Now, what we will be doing, concept building. First, we will be discussing the concepts. After we have discussed the concepts, then we will be doing the PYQs plus MCQs and then RRR. So first of all, concept building means that we will be discussing the concepts. You have to listen, okay, as well as try to understand. Because if you have closed off your mind, if you're not trying to understand, then no teacher can make you understand. So you have to try to understand. And if there is any confusion, if there is any problem, any query, even if you think that, okay, this is a silly query, do not be afraid to ask the query out. Okay. Even if it is a silly query, even if you feel like that it is it is a silly query, do not be afraid to ask the query out if it is related to the concept. Okay. So after every 2 to 3 slides, I will be asking you for your queries. So do ask your queries. Okay. So just listen and try to understand the concepts. After that, we will be discussing, okay, and do not close off your mind. Like I've told you that you have to be present in the class, you have to be attentive in the class to understand the concepts. Okay, if your mind is roaming somewhere else, then I cannot make you understand. Okay, so you have to be present mentally, you have to be present, not only physically but mentally you have to be present in the class. So just listen and try to understand, be mentally present in the class, and you got this. You can clear the examination if you are putting the efforts, and in the right direction you are putting the efforts. Okay, so this is the idea. Now PYQs and MCQs. So we will be discussing the PYQs plus MCQs in the session itself. So for your confidence, and you will see that very basic question come from ESI. If you have the basic understanding of the concepts, you will be able to answer the questions. Okay, because usually the current affairs is the difficult part. Now, the next is RRR. So it is your revision, revision, and revision. So RRR is your game changer, because here we will be revising every day for 10 to 15 minutes. So once we have completed the first chapter, then in the next session, we will revise this chapter first before starting with the next chapter, so that you have uh, the whole chapter in your mind. Okay, so this is the idea. So this is it. Now, the orientation is nearly finished. Now, as I've told you that for me, discipline is always very important. If you want to clear the examination, your motivation is there and the other factors are there, your efforts are there, but discipline is something that is very, very important. Okay, so discipline is the bridge between the goals and the accomplishment. Okay, so do come to the sessions if you feel like that you have to come to the sessions. If you feel like that you have already covered the topics and you can cover through the summary sheet, then go through the summary sheet, but be disciplined in covering the summary sheet and giving the quiz and such also. Okay, so discipline is the bridge between your goals and your accomplishment. I hope that you clear the RBI Grade B examination and you put the efforts for that. Okay, so now recording and PDF, you will get the recording of the class. You will get the PDF of the class also within 24 hours. If the next day is Sunday, then it might take some time. Then maybe on Monday the uploading will happen, but recording and PDF you should get within 24 hours. Okay. Next is there is a recorded course. So how the live classes are different from the recorded course. Okay, that is, if you have seen the recorded course, then it is fine, you do not have to see the live classes. If you are seeing the live classes, then you do not have to see the recorded course. Recorded course is more time taking, I can tell you that, because in that recorded course we have been very slow, very like slowly we have taught the topics. Okay, but in the live classes we will be a little faster, but you do not have to worry about that. The live classes will cover less topics. No, all the topics that have been covered in your recorded course, they will be covered, or most of the important topics, they will be covered in the live classes. Okay, with the live classes, if you are reading the summary sheet, that's all. Okay, that you require in ESI specifically, I am talking about, because in ESI you only have to cover the most important topics and you have to cover the basic and overall understanding. So through the live classes plus the summary sheet, you can do so. Okay, recorded course or recorded classes, they are very extensive, they will take a lot of your time. So if you are watching the live classes, that is sufficient. Okay, in ESI. Next is questions in the live session. So I will be taking your queries in the live session. Let's make it more interactive so that if you have any confusion, you can ask directly to me. So this is all. This is your orientation that has finished for your ESI. We are starting with the lecture 1, where we are going to cover the measurement of growth. The measurement of growth. So here you can see this is the ESI. Okay, in phase 2, there is paper 1 ESI, where you have measurement of growth, national income, and per capita income. So this is the part that we will be covering today. We will be discussing the PYQs and such also. Okay. So now before starting, is there any confusion? Shall I proceed? Okay. So first of all, let's discuss, see, all these topics: poverty, unemployment, the measurement of growth, fiscal policy, monetary policy, balance of payment, multiculturalism, demographic trends. Are we talking about any one individual? Or are we talking about a single farm? Or are we talking about a single market? When we are talking about poverty, unemployment, no, we are talking poverty from the whole economy sense. That means we are talking about poverty in India or poverty at the global level, unemployment in India or unemployment in the global level. Okay. Or we are talking about the monetary policy that is adopted in India, fiscal policy that is adopted in India, or the balance of payment situation of India. So we are talking about whole of the economy and the situation in the whole of the economy. Okay. So all these topics that is in your economics and social issues, all these topics are from your macroeconomics. Macro means large. We are talking about the larger segment. We are not talking about Kritika. We are not talking about Avantika. We are not talking about Pragya in this syllabus. We are talking about the poverty, unemployment, monetary policy, fiscal policy from the sense of the whole of the economy. Okay. So all these topics are from your macroeconomics. Now, macroeconomics, this was the coin, this was the term that was coined by, or the macroeconomics, the main ideology was provided by John Maynard Keynes. So John Maynard Keynes is also known as father of macroeconomics. Macroeconomics. Okay. So John Maynard Keynes was the prominent economist that has given the idea behind or the ideology behind the macroeconomics. Okay. So basically, macroeconomics, that is studying the larger segment, it studies the overall economy, it studies the overall situation of the country. Okay. Economy wide phenomena, so the country wide economy means the country from the economic sense. When we talk about the country from the political science, in the terms of political science, we study about citizens, we study about the constitution and such. When we talk about the country from the economic sense, when we talk about production, consumption, distribution, so country in the economic sense is economy. Got it? Country in the economic sense is economy. So we can use the term country or we can use the term economy. Okay. In the economic sense, the country is your economy in which there is production, consumption, distribution that is happening. Okay. So the macroeconomics, it studies the overall economy, the overall country, and the economic activities in the country. So the macroeconomics, it studies the economy wide phenomena, the country wide phenomena, the total production that is happening, the total consumption that is happening, the national income of the country, the poverty, the unemployment, the inflation. All of this comes under the macroeconomics. So unemployment, inflation, economic growth, all of these concepts, they come under the macroeconomics. Okay. So macroeconomics, it sees the big picture, it studies the whole of the economy, that is, it studies the whole of the economic activities in the country. It studies or it provides us the idea about the national income, the regional income, global economies also. So this is the macroeconomics. This is the macroeconomics where the big picture is seen, where we study about the whole of the economy. Okay. Any confusion in macroeconomics? Anyone? Any confusion? Yes. Correct. Sure. Yeah. Correct. We have to stick to the syllabus. Okay. Chalo. So macroeconomics, this is done. Basically, see what is the difference between macroeconomics and microeconomics. Micro means small. When we are talking about the smaller units, when we are talking about a single farm or a single market or the price of a single commodity, price of potato, let's say. Let's say we are talking about the individual, okay, and the taste of the individual. Let's say taste of puja. Now, macro means the whole of the country, the inflation. We are not seeing the price of a single product. We are seeing the inflation in the country, the prices of the basket of goods. Okay. Next, we are talking about unemployment. Yes. From the whole country perspective, that what is the unemployment in India, the national income, the national output, the total production. So that is macroeconomics. That is the large, that sees the large part. So macroeconomics, it studies the whole of the economy, the whole of the economy. Okay. Chalo. Let me, if we are talking about social welfare, if we are talking about social welfare, will it come in macroeconomics or will it come in microeconomics? Micro always means small and macro always means large. Yes, social welfare, it will come in large segment. It will come in macroeconomics, okay? Yes, very good. Because we are talking about the welfare of the society, the whole society. We are not talking about the welfare of Gita only or Kritika only. We are talking about the social welfare, the welfare of the society. Very good. If we are talking about the total production, it will come under macroeconomics. But let's say we are talking about the production in the soap market, then it will come under micro, because here we are talking about a individual market or a single market. Okay, very good. So this is clear. Moving forward with the factors of production. So factors of production, these are the inputs, the factors of production. These are the inputs that are used to produce the output, that are used to produce some output, goods or services. Okay. So factors of production, they are the factor inputs. They are the factor inputs that are used in the production process to produce the output, the goods and the services, or the goods or the services. So can you tell me which are the inputs that can be used to produce the output? Which can be the inputs? Labor, very good. Without the labor, nothing can be produced. Okay, the land. Without the land, the agricultural production cannot happen. Yes, capital. That is, without the machines, tools, equipments, the production cannot happen. Entrepreneur, because entrepreneur is the one that is bringing together all the other factors of production. So let's discuss them in more detail. So basically, factors of production, they are the factor inputs. They are the inputs that are required in the production process to produce the output, goods or services. Okay. So for production, we require the land. We require the land. Land here means all the natural resources, all the natural resources. So we require the natural resources. We require the land to do the production. We require the land for agricultural production, for the horticulture and such. As well as we require the labor. Labor here means the efforts and time of the people. Okay. So we require the labor, because if there is a factory but there is no labor working there, so production cannot happen again. Okay. Next, we require the capital also. We require the machinery, tools, equipments, the factory. So this is the capital. We require the factory, we require the machinery, tools, equipment. So that is capital, as well as money that is used in the production process. Okay, that is the money that is used in the production process to purchase the machinery, tools, equipment. This is also capital. This money is also capital. So basically, the money that is used to purchase the machinery, tools, equipment that is used in the production process, that is also capital. So let's say I'm using the money to buy a mobile phone for myself. Is this money capital? Is this money capital? No. Very good. This money is not capital because this money is not used in the production process. But let's say I'm using the money to buy the sugar mill machines for the sugar mill. Okay, the machines for the sugar mill. I'm using the money to buy the machines for the sugar mill to be used in the production process. This is capital. This money is capital. This money is capital that is used in the production process to buy the machinery, tools, equipment. Okay, or the money is used to purchase the machinery, tools, equipments that are used in the production process. Okay, so this is capital. So remember that the money that is used to purchase the machinery, tools, equipments that are used in the production process, this money is also capital. Okay, so the capital is the machinery, tools, equipment, or the money is also the capital that is used to purchase the machinery, tools, and capital. So this is the idea about capital. Now next is entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is the one that is taking the risk, that is bringing the innovative ideas, that is bringing together the other factors of production so that the production can happen. Okay. No, Bharat. The land is a separate factor of production. Okay. So land is the natural resource. We are talking about all the natural resources. Then labor. Okay. The capital, that is your machinery, tools, equipments, factory, or the money that is used to purchase these, as well as the entrepreneur. These are your factors of production that are required in the production process to produce the output. So the land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur is required. If we think about a factory, okay, in the factory itself, let's say we require the labor, we require the capital, we require the labor, we require the machinery, tools, equipment. In the factory, there must be an entrepreneur, and on the land, the factory has been established. So this is the idea that we require the land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. The digital services, they are originating from somewhere, right? So there is some land that is involved if the factory is established on the land. Okay. No, sorry. That is something else that we will be discussing in the coming slides. Okay. Chalo. So let's discuss about the capital so that you have the clarity. See, the buildings, machinery, tools, equipments, they are capital. The buildings, machinery, tool, equipment, they are the capital. Okay. Or the money invested in the business. That is the money that is used to purchase the building, machinery, tools, equipments that are used in the production process. That is capital. That is capital. So capital is the asset such as machinery, tools, equipment, etc., or the money used to buy machinery, tools, equipment that is used in the production process. So the land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. These are the factor inputs. These are the factors of production. These are the factors of production that are used in the production process to produce the output. To produce the output. Is this clear? Money invested in the business for buildings, for machinery, tools, equipments. That is capital. Okay. So capital is the asset. That is the machinery, tools, equipment, etc., or the money used to buy these machinery, tools, equipment. Okay. Any confusion, anyone now? That we will discuss. Salaries to workers, they are labors now. So now, are we going to provide our labor for free? Are you going to provide your labor for free? If you go to RBI as an officer, will you provide your labor for free? No, you will take. What will you take? Salary or wages, we can say. If I'm providing my land for lease on lease so that a factory can be built, or I'm providing my land on lease for agriculture to happen on that, am I providing my land for free? No, I will take what? I will take rent. Very good. If I'm providing my land for the factory, let's say the government has given the land for 100 years on lease. The government has given in Bihar or in other areas also, the government give the land on lease. The government give the land on lease for 100 years, for 200 years, on which now on this land, the factories can be established. Okay. So if I'm giving my land, if government is giving the land, are they giving it for free? No, they will take the rent. They will take the land rent. Okay. So for the land that you are giving, you will take the rent. Let's say if I'm providing my capital, if I'm providing the money for the purchase of machinery, tools, equipment. Yes. If I'm providing my money for purchase of machinery, tools, equipments to be used in the production process, am I providing my money for free? No, I will take the interest on the money. I will take the interest on the money if I'm providing my money so that the firm can buy the machinery, tools, equipment, factory to be used in the production process. This money, I'm providing a loan basically, and I will get interest on this. Okay, if I'm providing the money, I will get interest on it. So on the capital, what do you get? You get interest. On the capital, on the money, you get the interest. Entrepreneur, are they working for free? Are they taking the risk for free? No, they want profit. They want profit. So basically, if you're providing your labor, it is said that the labor, land, capital, and entrepreneur in economics, it is assumed that all these factors of production are with the households. The land is owned by the households, the labor is owned by the households, or the households have the labor, the capital, entrepreneur, they all are coming from the households. This is the basic assumption that is taken to simplify the things. Okay, so land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur, they all are under the households. Okay, now, so if I'm providing my factor input, if I'm providing my factor services, the factor inputs, that is land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur, they are providing their services, the factors services. Okay. So for my labor, the labor services that I am providing, I will take the wage from the factory. If I'm providing my capital, the money uh, for the purchase of machinery, tools, equipment, or factory to be used in the production process, if I'm providing my capital, I will take the interest. If I'm providing my entrepreneurship, I will take the profit. If I'm providing the land, I will take the rent. Okay. Any confusion anyone has in this? So these are the factor services that I'm providing, or the factor inputs are providing. So the factors of production or the factor inputs, they provide the factor services. They provide the factor services for which they get the factor payments. Okay. Chalo. Try to answer this. Yes. Which term is used to describe on purchasing machinery tools? So money that is spent on purchasing machinery tools, equipments to be used in the production process to produce the output. This money is capital. This money is capital. Okay. So this is the idea. Yes. Next, now let's discuss about the different types of goods. Okay. So we are discussing the different types of goods so that when we discuss about the intermediate goods, we discuss about the raw materials, you are clear about the raw materials. It will be capital. Okay. See, capital goods are usually machinery, tools, equipments, factory. Okay. Money is your capital. Money is your capital. But when the money is spent on purchasing machinery, tools, equipment, okay, these are the capital goods. So usually money is called capital and these equipments are called capital goods. Got it? But here, if the question comes like this, then the answer, the best, see, always, in SEBI also this happens. In SEBI also this happens in economics. That the questions are very complicated or the questions are easy, but the options are very complicated. And two or three options seem like anything can be the answer. Okay. So you have to choose the best possible answer. Remember this. You have to choose the best possible answer. So there are questions that you might feel that is a little confusing, but you have to choose the best possible answer. Okay. Here the money is actually capital and these equipments, they are called capital goods. But the question is in this terms. So here the answer will be capital good. Okay. Now consumer goods and producer goods. Let's say that I'm eating a vegetable. So this is consumer good. Why? Because the consumer is consuming it. Consumer goods directly satisfy the consumers. Consumer goods directly satisfy the consumers. They are used for consumption. They are used for personal needs. They are used for, yes, satisfying the needs. They are used for personal needs. Let's say you are buying a bike. Let's say you are buying a scooty or a car. Or let's say you are buying a watch. So these are the consumer goods, right? These are the consumer goods that you are buying for satisfying your needs or for your personal needs. You are buying these. Okay. So these are the consumer goods. Now, what are the producer goods? Anyone can tell me that what are the producer goods? What are the producer goods that are used in the production process? Disha, raw material is something else that we will discuss in the coming slides. Okay. What are the producer goods that are very good, that are used? Producer goods, they are used in the production process. They are used in the production process. Okay. So producer goods, they are used in the production process. They are used to produce other good. Okay. They are used to produce other good, such as the tractor, sewing machine, okay, fertilizers and such. Now let's say that the butter that you are using at home for yourself. So this is what? Producer good or consumer good? This is consumer good. But let's say the butter used by a bakery to produce a bread. So this butter, is it a producer good or consumer good? This is a producer good because the butter is used by a bakery to produce a bread. So the butter is used in the production process. So it is a producer good. So the same good can be a consumer good or producer good. The same good, it can be sewing machine you use at your home, your mothers, your fathers use at their home, right? So sewing machine, it can be a consumer good if it is used at home for your personal needs, or the sewing machine can be used by a tailor or by a micro, smaller, medium enterprises, by MSMEs also. The sewing machines are used for producing the cloth, for producing the clothes and such. So when the sewing machine is used in the production unit for producing the good, it is producer good. Got it? Yes. Now the tractor, it is usually a producer good because it is used for the agriculture. Chalo, moving forward. Try to answer this question. Which of the following items qualifies as a producer good used in the production process? Yes. So television used for entertainment at home. So this is your consumer good. Okay, because it is for personal needs. Sewing machine used at home for personal stitching, consumer good, personal need. Sugar added to tea in a household, personal good or consumer good, we can say. Tractor used by a farmer for plowing fields. So this is for production. So this is a producer good. Okay. Oven used by mother to bake bread for children. So this is a consumer good. So all the others are the consumer good. The best possible answer here is D. So that is your answer. Okay. Next, private goods and public goods. So private goods, let's say this is my mobile. Okay. I have a mobile. Let's say this is my mobile. Can it be used publicly without my permission? No, that will be wrong, right? So private goods, they are privately owned. They are exclusively enjoyed by individuals, or anyone can use it only with my permission. Okay. So they are exclusively enjoyed by individuals. Let's say my watch, my clothes. So they are privately owned. So they are exclusively enjoyed by individuals. Now, if someone is having Lamborghini or Ferrari, can you just go and touch that Ferrari and take it? That okay, now it's mine because I've touched it. No, case will happen. You like someone might go to jail if they just take someone else's Ferrari. So that is private goods. Now coming to the public goods. Public goods, they are owned and enjoyed by society. They are owned and enjoyed by society. Let's say public park. Can anyone stop you from going to public parks that are the government owned parks or such? No. Or there is the, let's say the public parks are there, highways are there, national highways. Can anyone stop you? No. So these are the public goods. They are owned and enjoyed by society, okay, such as the public parks or by the government or by the state governments. National Highway Authority of India has built the national highways, so they are also public goods. Okay, so they are non-rivalrous as well as non-excludable. Non-rivalrous means that multiple people can use it simultaneously. Multiple people can use it simultaneously. Non-excludable means that no one can be excluded. No one can be excluded. Okay, sorry for this. Try to answer this. And if there is any confusion, kindly ask me. Yes, Avantika, correct. Correct. Capital is the money used to purchase capital. Money is the capital when it is used to purchase machinery, tools, equipments, buildings, factory for production process. Okay. Chalo. T is the answer here. Public goods are non-rivalrous, means one person's use does not reduce availability to others. So non-rivalrous means that multiple people can use it. Okay. Public goods are non-excludable, meaning they are accessible to everyone, even those who do not pay for them. Okay. So public goods are non-excludable, meaning they are accessible to everyone. You cannot be excluded on the basis of caste, creed, and such. So even those who do not pay for them can use it, like the public parks and such. Public goods often lead to free rider problem, because even if you are not paying for that public good, even if you are not paying for that national highway or for that park, even if you are not paying any taxes, then also you can use it. Okay. Public goods are accessible only to those who pay? No. Public goods are accessible to everyone. Okay. Even if you are not paying the taxes, even if you are not paying for that public park, still you can use that. So D is the answer. D is the incorrect statement. So which of the following statement does not accurately describe the characteristic of public good? So it is public goods are accessible only to those who pay. No, it is accessible to everyone. So that is the idea. Now coming to the next part, that is intermediate goods. So everyone that was asking me about the raw materials, now you will get to understand that why the raw materials are not included in the factors of production. Okay, so raw materials are something that is separately seen. So what are intermediate goods? First of all, let's say I'm using sugar cane for producing the sugar. So sugar cane is the intermediate good that is transforming its shape to become the sugar. Can anyone give me any example of intermediate good other than this? Intermediate goods, they are used to produce another good. Okay, very good, everyone. So you have understood the concept. But let me just give you the definition and such. So intermediate goods, they are used to produce another good. They are used to produce another good. The intermediate goods are also known as semi-finished products. Okay, they are also known as semi-finished products. They are transformed in the production process. You can see that the sugar cane transforms into the sugar. Okay, cotton. Now another example is cotton that is used for production of yarn, or that is used to produce the cloth. Okay, next is your steel that is used for cars, for the production of cars. Now cotton, it transforms into yarn or it transforms into cloth. Steel, it transforms into the car exterior. Okay, so this is the idea. Intermediate goods, they are used to produce another good. They are also called semi finished products, and they are transformed into production process. Okay, they are transformed in production process. Okay, so yes, you can say that, see, raw materials, it can be the intermediate goods. These are the raw materials that can be the intermediate goods. Okay, yes, raw materials are basically of two types. Raw material are basically of two types. That is your natural resource, the raw material that is coming from natural source, but we take it under the land category. Okay, the another category of raw material is your semi-finished goods or the intermediate goods. Okay, so we do not, in economics we say intermediate goods, or we say land, that includes the natural resources. Okay, so either you will find the term land for your natural resources, or you will have the term intermediate goods. Okay, even if raw material is given, that is usually for your intermediate goods. Got it? If the raw material is mentioned, that is usually talking about the intermediate goods, because your natural resources are taken in the land category of factor of production. So intermediate goods, they are the materials that are used to produce another good. So they are used in the production process and they transform in the production process. So can we say intermediate goods are a category of producer good? Intermediate goods, they are a category of producer good, because intermediate goods, they are used in the production process. Intermediate goods, they are used in the production process. So they are a category of producer good. Now capital goods, they are also used to produce another goods. The capital goods, the machinery, tools, equipments, they are also used to produce another goods. But these machineries, let's say you are using sewing machine to produce cloth. Will this sewing machine become cloth? Will it transform in the production process into the good? No. Will the sugar mill, in the sugar mill, we are using the machines. Will that machines convert into sugar? No, right? So the capital goods, they do not get transformed into the production process into the other good. Okay, so capital goods are used for producing the another good. The capital goods are used to produce the another good, but they do not get transformed into the production process. So producer goods are of two types. There are two types of producer goods. Okay, one is your intermediate good and the other is your capital good. Intermediate good, into they transform into another product in the production process. Capital good, they do not get transformed into another product. They do not get transformed into another product in the production process. Any confusion anyone has till now? All clear? Try to answer this. Which of the following options is correct with respect to capital goods? So basically, they are only used in tertiary sector. Are they only used in service sector? No, they are also used in manufacturing sector. They are also used in the agriculture or the primary sector also. Okay. So capital goods, machinery, tools, equipments, they are used in the manufacturing sector also, not only in the tertiary sector. Okay. They are bought for meeting immediate need of consumers. No, capital goods, they are machinery, tools, equipments that are used in the production process. So they are not used by consumers. They are naturally available. So capital goods are not naturally available. The machinery, tools, and equipments, they are built by man. Okay. They don't transform or change shape in production process. So this is correct. They don't transform. The capital goods, they don't transform or change their shape in the production process in producing the another good. Okay. Got it? Yes. Tisha. So D is the answer here. D is the answer here because okay, sorry. The question should be which of the following is incorrect? Is correct. No, the question is correct. So E is not the answer. Which of the following option is correct? So D is correct. They don't transform or change shape in the production process. Okay. So this is correct. All the other statements are wrong. Yes, yes. Sorry, I saw the E and okay. So all the other statements are wrong. This is correct. They don't transform or change shape in the production process. Okay. Chalo. Now coming to the next question, what are consumption and capital goods? So now till now, let me ask you a few questions so that let's see how much you remember. In let's say if we are talking about total production, this will come in macro or micro? This will come in macro. Very good. Then factors of production, name the factors of production. There are 4 factors of production. Yes, name them. Land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. For land, you get rent. For labor, wages. For capital, interest. For entrepreneur, profit. After this, we discussed that there is consumer goods and producer goods. Give me a few example of consumer goods. Only 2, 3 example. Consumer goods that are clothes, okay, bread, butter. Consumer goods are consumed by people, okay, by us. Yes. Producer goods. What are producer goods? Yes. What are producer goods? That are used in the production process. There are 2 types of producer goods. What are those? Producer goods are used in the production process. Producer goods are intermediate products and capital goods. Intermediate goods. Intermediate goods. Do they transform in the production process? They transform in the production process into another good. Capital goods. Do they transform into another good? No, they don't transform into another good. Give me example of intermediate product. Sugarcane used to produce sugar. So sugarcane is intermediate good. Cotton used to produce cloth. So here intermediate good is cotton. That is intermediate good that is used to produce the cloth and get transforms into cloth. Yes. Let's say coffee beans used to produce coffee. Used to produce coffee. So coffee beans are intermediate good. They transform into coffee. They transform into coffee. Now, capital goods, give me example of capital goods. Yes, leather for belt and such. Machinery, tools, equipments, they are the capital good. Okay. So here in economics, we use the term intermediate goods. Okay. Instead of raw material. Instead of raw material. Because the natural resources, they come under the category of land. The natural resources, they come under the category of land. And the intermediate goods, they come under the category. Okay, they come under the category of producer goods directly. Chalo. Now, coming to the final goods. The final goods. The final goods are referred to those goods that do not further transform or change their shape to become another good. Okay. So, final like consumer goods as well as capital goods. They both are considered final goods. Consumer goods and capital goods, they both are considered final goods. The consumer goods are considered, the consumer goods are considered final goods for consumers. And the capital goods, they are considered final goods for producers. Okay, but they both come under the final goods category. Got it? So consumer goods, they are considered final goods for consumers. Capital goods that do not further transform, they are considered final goods for producers. So final goods are referred to as those goods that do not require further processing, change, or transformation in itself in the production process. Any confusion here, anyone? Final goods are those goods that do not further require processing, change, or transformation in itself in the production process. So if we have a robot, if we have a robot that is used in the production process to produce the cars. So this robot is what? This robot is a machine. So it is a capital good. Okay, that is considered a final good. If we have a robot at home, have you seen those small circle shaped robots that clean the houses? So if we have robot at home, so this is consumer good. This is consumer good that is used by the consumers. Got it? Got the difference? Chalo. Answer these questions now. Starting with question number 5. Starting with question number 5. A commodity that is used by consumer to satisfy their current wants or needs is known as. The answer here will be final good. Because consumer goods, they are a category of final goods, okay? Or they are final goods. Next, which of the following? Which of the following statements about macroeconomics is not correct? Is not correct. So it studies issues and problems at the level of economy as the whole, correct. It is basically concerned with determination of aggregate output and general price level in the economy as a whole, correct. It talks about the aggregate total output, national income, general price level. Its focus is on maximization of social welfare. So its focus is on maximization of social welfare, correct. When we talk about macroeconomics, its focus is on maximization of social welfare, okay. It has a very wide scope, that is state or a country, correct. So all the other statements are correct. So the answer should be none of the above here, okay. Any confusion anyone has? Any confusion? No. The other kind of goods, they might exist, but they might exist, but they are not important. Okay. Yes, Ritika. It studies macroeconomics. Yes. Okay. Its focus is on maximization of social welfare. See, if we are studying something, if we are studying biology, what is the main purpose of studying biology? What is the main purpose of studying biology? That we want to know about the human anatomy or the plant anatomy. Okay. So that we can do further research on that and we can like further know about the human anatomy and such. Similarly, when we study the macroeconomics, when we are studying about the whole of the country, why we are studying about the whole of the country? Why we are studying about the whole of the country? So that we can maximize the social welfare. So that we can maximize the welfare. We do not want, we are not studying the whole of the country to target the country or to reduce the welfare. We are studying about the country so that we can increase the welfare of the country, right? Because if there is an economist, the main purpose of that economist is what? So that the economist can provide for more welfare activities or can provide for more welfare policies, can increase the welfare of the country. Even in the even in the capitalist economy, that is like focusing on money, even there the maximization of social welfare is important. Okay. Yes. So social welfare, economic growth, stability, production, these are all related to social welfare only. We want the welfare of the society. Okay. So macroeconomics, see in microeconomics, when we are talking about the firm, the target is maximizing the profits. When we are talking about individuals in microeconomics, when we are talking about small units, the motive is to maximize the satisfaction of the individual. Okay. In macroeconomics, the target is for the whole of the economy to maximize the social welfare. This is the idea. Yes, in macroeconomics. Chalo, coming to the next question, try to answer this question, then we will move forward. Which of the following statements is incorrect regarding capital goods? These are final goods and not intermediate goods. They themselves do not get transformed in the production process. Capital goods are one of the factors of production. Capital goods include machinery, tools, equipments. Over a period of time, the monetary value of capital goods increase. No, this we will discuss in the coming slides also. But capital goods, machinery, tools, equipments, when they are used continuously or even if they are lying idle, their value keeps on decreasing. Their value keeps on decreasing. There is depreciation that happens. Their value keeps on depreciating. Let's say I bought this mobile, let's say 3 years ago. Now, will this mobile be sold at the same value? Its value has depreciated because the new technology has come up. The new equipments, like the new type of mobile phones, have come up with better processor, with better camera and such. So machinery, tools and equipments, all the machinery, tools and equipments, their value depreciate because the machinery, tools and equipment, either they have become obsolete, older, or they were continuously used, due to which their capacity has reduced, okay, for production. So capital goods, these the capital goods, their monetary value gets decreased. Yes, depreciates. Okay, so this is the answer, that this is the incorrect statement, because the monetary value does not increase, it decreases. Okay, so capital goods, they are final goods for the producers. They are not intermediate goods, because producer goods have two categories: capital goods and intermediate goods. They are separate. They themselves do not get transformed in the production process. The goods are one of the factors of production. Capital goods are one of the factors of production, and they include machinery, tools, equipments and such. Okay, so E is the answer here. Now we are starting with the national income, aggregates related to national income. So till now we have discussed the basics that will be used in your coming slides. Okay, so intermediate good, or the final good, or let's say your such kind of terms, capital goods and such, these terms will be used in the coming slides. Okay, now coming to the national income, aggregates related to national income. First of all, before starting with national income, we have to understand. Okay, there is a question by Shivangi. Final goods are referred to as those goods which do not require further processing, change, or transformation. So, can the intermediate goods be final goods? Shivangi. No, because intermediate goods, they transform in the production process. So intermediate goods cannot be final goods. Intermediate goods cannot be final goods. Final goods, they do not get transformed. Intermediate goods, they do get transformed. Okay. So the capital goods, in the producer goods, there is two category: intermediate goods that transform in the production process, capital goods that do not get transformed in the production process. So capital goods are also final goods for producers. Intermediate goods, they are not final goods. They are themselves called intermediate good. They are not final. They are intermediate, in the in between, we can say. Okay. Now, is it clear? Yes, even in the case of intermediate goods, also the value can decrease. Sugarcane, let's say sugarcane is 1 year older and the new sugarcane. Do they have the same value? If a sugarcane is 1 year older, it will have less of the uh, juices now, while the new sugarcane will have more juices. Okay. keep the concepts separated. Otherwise, you will get confused. Okay. So in final goods, you have consumer goods. These are the final goods for consumers. You have the capital goods. These are the final goods for producers. Okay. Chalo. Now, national income, aggregates related to national income. This is what we have to start. But first, let's discuss about total production. When we talk about total production, can we add 10 mobile phones with 10 makeup boxes, with 5 jets, with 2 aeroplanes? Can we add this? No. Why? Because they don't have the same units. The mobile phone, the makeup boxes, jets, aeroplanes, they don't have the same unit. So what do we have to do for seeing the total production? If we want to see the total production, we have to take this in monetary value terms. So make mobile phones, let's say 10 mobile phones are of 10,000. 10 makeup boxes are also of 10,000. 5 jets are of 1 crore. 2 aeroplanes are of 2 crore, let's say. Okay. So 3 crore, 20,000. So this is the total production, right? This is the total production or the value of total production. So whenever we talk about the total production, we are always talking in monetary value terms. Got it? Total production never means in different units. Total production always means that we are seeing it in monetary value terms. Got it? So total production is always seen in monetary value terms, because we cannot see the total production in the different units. So total production or gross production, that is the total production, it is always in the monetary value terms. Next is normal resident. See, normal resident of a country, let's say there is a German citizen who is living in India for 2 years and is working for an Indian firm in India. While there is a John is the German citizen who is living in India for 2 years and he is working in Indian firm. There is an Indian citizen, Kavya, who is living in US for 3 years and uh, she is working for Google in US. Okay. While there is the American citizen who is living in India for 1 month and is working in a Indian firm. So, according to you, who is the normal resident of India? Who is the normal resident of India? Kavya is an Indian citizen. Okay. Some are saying John. Okay. Many of you are saying John. Okay. So that means you have studied this concept before. Correct. Yes. Normal resident. Who is the normal resident of India? It is John. Why is it John? Because normal resident of a country means individual or an entity or an institution who is residing in a country, who is residing in India, for more than 182 days, and their economic interest, that means their production activity should also be happening in India. Their production activity, their economic interest should reside in India. That means their production activity should be in India. So John, who is a German citizen, they have the citizenship of Germany. But do we care about citizenship in India? Sorry, in economy? When we talk about citizenship, this is a political science concept, or this is a concept of political science. But in economics, we care about production, consumption, distribution. So in economics, we do not use the term citizen. We use the term normal resident. Got it? So doesn't matter. The citizen is of Germany, America, Italy. It can be the person or the institution can be a normal resident of India if they are residing in India for more than 182 days and their economic interest, that is their production activity, is happening in India. These are the two must condition for a normal resident. So John is a normal resident. Why? Because he is residing in India for more than 182 days and his production activity, he is working in Indian firm. His production activity is happening in India. Okay. Next, why Kavya is not a normal resident of India? She's a Indian citizen, but still she's not a normal resident of India because she's a non-resident. She's a NRI, non-resident Indian. She's not residing in India. She's not living in India for 3 years. That means she's not living in India right now, and she is not producing for India, or she is not doing the production activity for India. Okay. Next, American citizen. She is producing for India. She is doing the production activity in India. So why this American citizen is not a normal resident of our country? Yes, only 1 month. Only 1 month. So that means the American citizen, let's say Samantha, she is not residing in India for more than 182 days. Okay, she has only resided for 30 days. 30 out of 182. Yes, correct. Chalo. Let me reiterate this so that even the students that have never studied this concept can understand. Normal in economics, we do not care about citizenship. We care about the normal resident status. We care about normal resident status. Okay. Now, normal resident of India are those who are fulfilling two conditions. They are residing in India for more than 182 days, and their economic interests, that means their production activities, are also happening in India. Okay. Let's say we are talking about the Italian citizen. He is living, let's say Smith is living in India for 1 year, and he's working in a Indian college in India. So can we say Smith is a normal resident of India, even though Smith does not have Indian citizenship? Yes, because Smith is residing in India for more than 182 days. Always keep this in mind. More than 182 days, economic interest production activity in India. While we have, let's say, Sujit. Sujit is living in US or in UK, and he's working for a, like, he is working in the UK college. He's living in UK for 2 years and is working as a professor in the UK college, in the British college. So Sujit, he's the Indian citizen, but is he the Indian resident? Is he the normal resident of India? No. He is the Indian citizen, but he is not a normal resident. He is not a normal resident of India. First of all, he is not living in India, not residing in India, not working for India, not producing for India. Okay? Chalo. Now, next is domestic territory. When we talk about domestic territory, are we only talking about geographical territory of India? Are we talking about only geographical territory? No. Again, in geography, we talk about geographical territory, that, okay, this is the geographical territory. But when we talk about domestic territory in economics, when we talk about domestic territory, it means our geographical territory that is under the under the control of India. Okay, that is producing for India. Okay, so that is the domestic territory, as well as the embassies that we have all over the globe. Embassies of India, do they have Indian flag? Are they have, or do they have the Indian people working there? The Indian embassies, wherever it is, it is in America, it is in the Indian embassy, the Indian embassy, it is in America, or it is in UK, or it is in Italy, or it is in Germany. The Indian embassy, they have Indian flag. Okay, they have the Indian people working there. So this Indian embassy that is following the Indian rules and regulations, it also comes under the domestic territory of our country. Okay, so the geographical territory of our country, that is having our flag, our rules and regulations, our people working, as well as the Indian embassies. Okay, that is domestic territory, as well as the aeroplanes. Let's say the aeroplane is flying over Japanese territory. The Indian aeroplane is flying over Japanese territory, and something happens to this aeroplane. Let's say a hijack is happening. So Japanese government, will it take care of the situation, or the Indian government will take care of the situation? The Indian government has to take care of the situation. Indian aeroplanes, Indian ships, Indian vessels, Indian submarines, anything on the international waters, anything going over or going towards any other country will be the Indian territory. Any attack on this will be the attack on the Indian peoples, okay, or the India directly. So these are the domestic territory. Got it? So domestic territory is the geographical territory of our country, plus the Indian embassies that we have all over the world, as well as the aeroplanes, ships, vessels, the submarines that we have. That is domestic territory of India. Chalo. After understanding all of these terms, shall we start with the GDP and such? अभी तक किसी को कोई कंफ्यूजन, कोई प्रॉब्लम? Yes, sorry. Because they are on the ships and vessels, na, for most of the time. No confusion? Yes, Vaibhav, correct. Okay. No, then he will be considered tourist. Chalo. Now coming to the GDP, gross domestic product. Okay. Gross domestic product. First of all, gross product means total production. We see the total production in which terms? We see the total production in monetary value, right? We see the total production in monetary value. Domestic means domestic territory. Domestic territory. So by the name itself, you should be able to understand that here gross product, that means total monetary value of all the final goods and services produced. Okay, so that is gross product. Gross product means total production that we see in monetary value. So total production in the monetary value. So total monetary value of all the final goods and services produced in a year, because GDP we see for a year only, for a year. Okay, so GDP we calculate, or national income we'll calculate for a year basically. So total monetary value of all the final goods and services produced in a year in the domestic territory, of our country. Now in the GDP, we do not care that who is doing the production. It should be done in the domestic territory. Okay. So in the GDP, when we are including total monetary value, or GDP is the total monetary value of all the final goods and services produced in a year in the domestic territory of our country by the residents, by the normal residents, or by the non-residents. So in the GDP, whenever we talk about GDP, we do not care that who is producing it. Residents are producing it, or non-residents are producing it. If it is being produced in the domestic territory, let's say Amanda has come to India for 1 month and she's teaching in the Indian college for 1 month in the exchange program. So will this be included in the GDP? Her services, will it be included in GDP? Think about it. Whatever is being produced in the domestic territory, whatever is being produced in the domestic territory will be included in GDP. Okay, got it? So whatever is being produced in the domestic territory, Amanda has come to India and she's serving the Indian college as a faculty. So even her services, even if she is not a normal resident, but her services will be included. Okay, so this is the idea, that whatever is being produced in the domestic territory by whoever is producing it, that will be included in the domestic territory. Any confusion here now? So whenever we discuss about domestic product or domestic income, we always care that where the production is happening in India, where the income is being generated in the domestic territory of India. Okay, do not care that who is producing it. Foreigners are producing it, normal residents are producing it, whoever is producing it. So GDP is the total monetary value of all the final goods and services produced in a year in the domestic territory of the country by the residents and non-residents, whoever are producing it. Okay, now GDP can be, whenever we talk about GDP, it is always taken at market price. But there is also a term that is called GDP at FC. So what is this market price? What is this FC? So let's understand this. Market price, basically, have you seen that whenever you get something, let's say this pen, it is written MRP inclusive of all the taxes. So that is your market price. Market price is your MRP. That is the market price. And market price, does it include the taxes like the goods and services tax? If you are buying a pen, does it include the indirect taxes like the GST? If you are buying a fertilizer bottle for your home garden, yes. So market price, it includes the indirect taxes. It includes the indirect taxes. Indirect taxes like goods and services tax. Okay. So this is the market price. Market price is the price in the market, basically the price for this hoodie. If you are buying a t-shirt, so the price in the market is the market price. Now factor cost. The factor cost is the factor cost is the cost of factors of production. Factor cost is the cost of factors of production, or the money that is going to the factors of production. That is going to the factors of production. Now, indirect taxes. Indirect taxes. Does it go to factors of production? No. So in the factor cost, indirect taxes will not be included. Okay. Subsidies. So indirect taxes, it goes to government. So it will not be included in the factor cost because this is the money that is going to the factors of production. Indirect taxes, the GST, it goes to the government and not to the factors of production. Okay. So factor cost does not include the indirect taxes. Now talk about subsidies. If the government is giving the subsidies to the producers, will these subsidies go to the factors of production? Yes, it will go to the factory, it will go to the factors of production. Okay, so subsidies are included. This is the idea. So let's say that you are going from, let's say you are going from market to factory, from market price to factor cost. Deduct the indirect taxes because in the factor cost, in the cost of factors of production, or the money that is going to the factors of production, the money that is going to the factors of production, the indirect taxes is not included. Okay, the indirect taxes is not included because the factors of production, they are not getting the indirect taxes. The government gets these indirect taxes, that is the GST. The government gets it. Okay, so deduct the indirect taxes, add the subsidies because the producer subsidies, these are given to the producers, they go to the factors of production. So add the subsidies. Now in the market price, if you are going from factor cost to market price, so this is the factor cost, you are going to the market price. So you have to add the indirect taxes because in the market price, the indirect taxes are included. Deduct the subsidies because these are the subsidies going to the producers. Okay. Any confusion here, anyone? Just the formula you have to remember. Okay. So market price is equal to factor cost. In the factor cost, what do you have to add? Tell me, what do you have to add? In the factor cost, add the indirect taxes because in the market, the indirect taxes are included, and deduct the subsidies. Okay. And in the, if you are going from market price to factor cost, if you are going from market to factory, deduct the indirect taxes and add the subsidies. Chalo. Nice. Now net indirect taxes, whenever you hear the net indirect taxes, it means indirect taxes minus subsidies. Indirect taxes minus subsidies. So indirect taxes minus subsidies is your net indirect taxes. So we can write factor cost plus net indirect taxes to go to the market price. Okay. So this is the idea. Chalo, any confusion, anyone in this concept? Okay. So we already know the definition. Whenever the GDP is written, that means it is at market price. So we already know the definition of GDP at market price. Okay. Monetary value, that means market value. Now, if we are going from the GDP at MP to GDP at FC, if we are going from GDP at MP to GDP at FC, GDP is same. You have to go from market price to factor cost. What do you have to do? What do you have to do? Deduct the indirect taxes. Yes. Add the subsidies. Okay. So in the factory, there are no indirect taxes that is going to the factors of production because this is going to the government. Okay. So indirect taxes are going to the government. They are not going to the factors of production. So deduct the indirect taxes, add the subsidies. So deduct the net indirect taxes. Deduct the net indirect taxes. So basically the definition, we can use the definition of GDP at MP. We just have to deduct the net indirect taxes. So total value of all final goods and services produced in a year in the domestic territory. Whoever is producing it, it should be produced in the domestic territory because it is a domestic product. So produced in the domestic territory, deducting the net indirect taxes. Chalo. Clear? GDP at MP and GDP at FC we have covered. Now try to answer this question. If the gross domestic product at factor cost, if the GDP at factor cost is 2546, you have to calculate the GDP at market price. So from factor cost to market price, GDP is same, means this should be same. From factor cost to market price, what you have to do? Add the indirect taxes because you are going from the factory to the market. So add the indirect taxes because in the market, the indirect taxes are added. You have to pay the GST on all the goods that you are buying from the market. Okay. So add the indirect taxes, deduct the subsidies. Indirect taxes are 320, deduct the subsidies too. So that is GDP at MP will be 2864. Chalo. This is the answer. Okay. So from factor cost to market price, add the indirect taxes, deduct the subsidies. Okay. Factor cost to market price, add the indirect taxes, deduct the subsidies. Now moving forward, coming to the next concept of gross and net. Okay, so there is gross domestic product. There is also something known as net domestic product. You know that how you can convert the market price to factor cost. Okay, how you can convert the market price to factor cost. Now we will discuss how you can convert this gross to net. How you can convert this gross to net. Okay, first of all, let's understand depreciation. So capital goods, they undergo wear and tear, they undergo depreciation, they get worn out and they have to replaced. Okay. Let's say that in 2019, I was producing, let's say in 2019, I was producing 100 goods with 10 units. Now in 2020, I want to produce 150 with 10 machines. Sorry, I was producing 100 goods with 10 machines. Okay. So in 2019, I was producing 100 goods with 10 machines. Now in 2020, I want to produce 150 goods. So how many machines do I require? In basic sense, how many machines do I require? Yes, very good, everyone. I require 15 machines. So to add the output, to increase the output by 50, how many machines have increased? 5. Now this is known as net investment. This is known as net investment. That is, net investment is the investment done in the machinery, tools, equipment to increase the level of production, to increase the level of production. So to increase the level of production, to add to the production, to add to the goods, the machinery that is increased, this is net investment. Any confusion? Anyone? That if I want to increase the output, I will increase the number of machines. So that is net investment. Okay. So net investment is of 5 machines. The 5 machines have been added to add to the output, to increase the output. There is increase in machines. Let's say out of the 10 older machines, let's say out of the 10 older machines, one machine has broken down. One machine has broken down. So the one machine, wear and tear has happened and there is depreciation of one machine. There is depreciation of one machine. So I have to replace this machine, right? Or will I leave this machine like this only? If one machine has broken down, I will have to do the replacement. This is known as replacement investment. This is known as replacement investment. So replacement investment is of how many machines? 1. Net investment is of 5 machines, correct? Replacement investment is of 1 machine. So what is the total investment? Very good. The gross investment is of 6 machines. So net investment, this is the increase in machines to increase the level of output. Replacement investment is the increase in machines to replace the previous machine. Okay. So gross investment is the total. Any confusion, anyone? Let me give you another example so that you have the clarity. So depreciation basically means that there is the wear and tear of the machine that is happening. The machinery is breaking down. Okay. Now, if we take an example that let's say in 2020, you were using 5 machines to produce 100 goods. Now you want to produce 300 goods. So how many machines will you require in 2021? Yes. 15 machines you require for in 2021 you require 15 machines to produce 300 goods. So to increase the output by 200, how many machines have increased? How many new machines are coming up? 10. 10 machines. So what is the net investment? What is the net investment? New investment to increase the level of output. So that is 10 machines. The new machines to increase the level of output. Now let's say out of the 5 machines, 2 machines have broken down. There is depreciation of 2 machines. So what is the replacement investment? What is the replacement investment? The replacement investment or the depreciation is of 2 machines. So the replacement investment is of 2 machines. So gross investment is of 12 machines. Got it? Gross investment is of 12 machines. So whenever you want to go from the net to gross, whenever you want to go from the net to gross, you have to add the depreciation. Got it? So whenever you have to go to the gross investment, you have to add in the net investment the depreciation. The depreciation. So net investment is the new addition to the capital stock to increase the level of output, Depreciation, for depreciated capital, we have to replace the worn out capital. So this is replacement investment. Okay. Gross investment is the net investment plus the replacement investment or the net investment plus the depreciation. So that is gross investment. So GDP, when we have gross domestic product, we want to go to net domestic product. So here you want to go from gross to net. What do you have to do? Add the depreciation, deduct the depreciation. What do you have to do? Deduct the depreciation. Because if we want to go from net investment to gross investment, add the depreciation, and the vice versa will happen in the other case. Okay. So if you want to go from, let's say, net investment is of 10 machines, replacement investment or depreciation is of 2 machines. So gross investment is the total, that is of 12 machines. But if the net investment we have to find, so gross investment is of 12 machines minus, it will go here. So minus replacement investment or depreciation of is of 2 machines. So net investment is 10 machines. Okay. This is the idea that from the gross, you have to deduct the depreciation to get to the net. So from gross to net, deduct depreciation. Now, if you want to go from net domestic product, from net to gross, what do you have to do? Everyone, from net to gross, from net to gross, from net investment, from net to gross, add depreciation. So now GDP, this is the definition of GDP. Deduct the depreciation, or depreciation is also known as consumption of fixed capital. Okay, depreciation is also known as consumption of fixed capital. So this is the definition of GDP at MP. We are converting the GDP at MP to NDP. So deduct the depreciation, deduct the consumption of fixed capital. That's it. So net to gross, add the depreciation. Gross to net, deduct the depreciation. Any confusion in these two national income related aggregates conversion that we have discussed? No. Try to answer this question first. Question number 1. GDP or gross domestic product is defined as value of all final goods and services produced for the marketplace. Now, I have told you whenever the GDP is alone, it is always taken at market price, right? It is always taken at market price. So produced for the marketplace, because GDP, whenever it is alone, it is always taken at market price. So value of all the final goods and services that is produced for the marketplace, that is at the marketplace over a period of time within the domestic borders. So A is the correct answer here. The C can also be correct, but the market price is not mentioned here. Okay, so value of final goods and services produced within the country within 1 year in the factory, we are talking about factory price or what? So A is the better suited. C also can be the answer, but A is the better or the complete definition. Got it? So you have to find the best possible option. And there will be confusing options that can come, but you have to find the best possible answer. Now, GDP minus depreciation is equal to domestic product is same. From gross, deduct the depreciation, so you will get to net. So net domestic product. Net domestic product. Okay. So gross domestic product deduct depreciation. So from gross to from gross you are deducting the depreciation, so it is net. The domestic product will remain the same. Net domestic product. This is the answer. Estimates of national income in India is released by which organization? So it is National Statistical Office. It is national. NSO is the one that releases the national income aggregates. Okay. So National Statistical Office under the MOSPI, that is Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. So under the MOSPI, the NSO releases the national income. Okay. This is the idea. Chalo. Now coming to the next concept that we have to understand. First of all, in the domestic product, I have told you, domestic product, it is a concept that is related to the territory. Production should be within the territory. Production should be within the territory. Do we care that who is producing in the domestic product? No, we don't. Whoever is producing, blue is for Indians or the normal resident of India. Normal resident of India. Red is for non-resident of India. So domestic product, it includes the total production, the total income that is generated by XYZ, ABC, whoever is present in India, producing in India for how much ever time period in India. Got it? Normal residency or the non-resident doesn't matter. Okay. Yogesh, in economics, we do not use the term citizenship. We use normal resident of India or non-resident of India. Okay. Because if you use the term citizen, you will get confused. So use the term normal resident of India that has two criteria, more than 182 days in India and economic interest in India. Okay. Non-resident, they are not residing for more than 182 days or their economic interest is not in India. So domestic product, we don't care that whoever is producing it, but it should be produced within the domestic territory of India. In the national product, we don't care that where is it being produced. We care that it should be produced by normal resident of India. So in the national product, it matters that who is producing. In domestic product, it doesn't matter. But in national product, it matters that who is producing. The territory does not matter in the national product. In the national product, even if the production is happening in Nepal, even if the production is happening in Sri Lanka, even if the production is happening in US or UK, if it is being produced by the normal resident of India, it is included in national product. Let's say we have an Indian teacher, okay, who has gone to Japan for 3 months. 3 months means only 90 days. Okay, or let's say for 1 month only, for 30 days. Now the Indian teacher is going to Japan in the exchange program and she's teaching in a Japanese school and the Japanese people or the Japanese school is paying. Okay. So this Indian teacher, first of all, is she or is he the normal resident of India? Yes, because for more than 182 days, they have residing in India only for 30 days. They are going to some other territory for working for a short period of time. Okay, this is the idea. For 1 month or for only 3 months. Okay, yes. So, Indian teacher, she is the Indian teacher who has gone to Japan for only a short period of time. Let's say there is my mother used to work um in a cloth factory, okay, in which she was the HR, and we used to export the cloth to China. It was actually a sugar mill, so we used to export the sugar mill products to China. So you can understand that there were Indian technicians that used to go to that place, China, and used to provide the tools and uh, the sufficient of the knowledge that how the tools will be used and such. So you can understand that the Indian technicians, they were employed by the Indian firm, okay, but the Indian technicians, they had to go to China for 1 month or sometimes 15 days only or sometimes 2 months only also. So if they are going to China for a short period of time, they will be paid by the Chinese firm also because the technicians are going from India and they are providing their know-how to China and such. So you can understand that they the Indian residents first of all? They are normal residents of India because they are only going to China for 1 month, 15 days, or 2 months maximum, not more than that. Okay. They are basically working in India in the Indian farm, but they are going there to provide their know how to the Chinese farm for a short period of time. So they are earning from abroad, they are earning from China, but for a short period of time. So national product, it includes all the income that is generated by the normal residents of India from wherever they are generating the income from. Any confusion here? Yes, Avantika, correct. Chalo. Domestic product, it includes whatever is being produced in the domestic territory of our country. Doesn't matter who is producing it, normal resident of India or non-resident of India. National product, it doesn't matter that where the production is happening, the place doesn't matter, but it should be produced by the normal resident of India. It should be produced by the normal resident of India. Okay. Harini, 6 months means how many days? 180 or more than 180. If a person, if a Indian, that is, let's say Radha, is working for more than 182 days in India, in the Indian farm, so she will be considered normal resident of India. That is the basic criteria. Okay, just remember the basic criteria. Got it? If she is working in India for more than 182 days and she is working in the Indian firm for that time period, she will be considered normal resident of India. Chalo. Now, let's say you are producing or there is the domestic. No, they will be considered normal resident. In the national income or in the national product, even if they are earning from outside, that is also included now. That's why it is a national income. Normal resident of India, normal resident of India. Who are the normal resident of India? Who are residing in India for more than 182 days and their economic interest resides in India for more than 182 days. If they are producing wherever, if they are producing and they are generating the income, that will be included in national product. Got it? Production. Economic interest resides in India. That means productive activity. The majority of the productive activity resides in India. I have given you the example of Indian technician. He's working for more than 182 days in India. The Indian faculty, they are working for in India for more than 182 days in India. So their economic interest or their maximum productive activity is happening in India. Chalo. Now, if we have to convert the domestic into national, we add the net factor income from abroad. Okay. Domestic to national. Why is it so? If we are going from domestic In the domestic, what do we have? In the domestic, we have the normal resident. They are producing in the domestic territory. Yes. Non-residents. They are producing in the domestic territory. Do we include that in the domestic product? Yes or no? Yes. So normal resident, they are producing in domestic territory. Normal resident, they are producing in domestic territory, as well as non-residents, they are producing in domestic territory. This is included in the domestic product. In the national product, we only want to see the normal resident that are producing in the domestic territory, the normal resident that are producing in the domestic territory, as well as the normal resident that are producing in the foreign territory also. The normal resident of India that are producing in foreign territory also. Is this correct? First of all, is this explanation correct? Yes or no? Now you know if it is correct or not. Is this correct? Tisha has said yes. What about the others? Yes, correct. Now, basically, non-resident in the domestic territory. Can we include it in national product? No. So we have to deduct the factor income that is going to abroad. Factor income that is going to abroad. That is the non-resident. The non-resident income we have to deduct, right? Factor income to abroad we are deducting because this is the non-resident income that should not be included in the national product. Non-residents should not be included in the national product. So non-resident income we are deducting. We have to add now normal resident, domestic territory, this is already included. So we have to include this now. Factor income from abroad of the normal residents. Factor income that is coming from abroad to India. Factor income that is coming from abroad to India by the factor income that is earned by normal residents. Factor income, the income that is earned by normal residents from abroad. Got it? Any confusion here? So in the domestic product, add the factor income from abroad, add the factor income from abroad, add this factor income from abroad and deduct this factor income to abroad. Okay. So in the domestic product, add the factor income from abroad of the normal residents and deduct the factor income to abroad of the non-residents. Yes. To abroad, deduct. From abroad, add. This is the idea. So this is domestic product. Domestic product is equal to national product. In the domestic product, add the factor income from abroad. The factor income from abroad, deduct the factor income to abroad. The factor income from abroad minus factor income to abroad, this is net factor income from abroad. Net factor income from abroad. Let's say we are earning 100 crores, but we are paying 120 crores. So net factor income from abroad is negative 20 crores. Let's say we are getting 100 crores and we are paying only 80 crores. Factor income to abroad is only 80 crores. Then net factor income from abroad is 20 crores. So domestic product, okay, plus net factor income from abroad. Domestic product plus net factor income from abroad. The factor income from abroad, the factor income from abroad. So domestic product plus factor income from abroad. This is national product. Any confusion, anyone? Chalo. Now, let's take the vice versa case so that you understand it better. Okay, clear to everyone? Nice. National to domestic, here you have to deduct. Here you have to deduct the net factor income from abroad. So when you are going from domestic to national, in the national, you have to add the net factor income from abroad. You have to add the income from abroad. But in the domestic, you have to deduct the income from abroad, because in domestic, we only want to see the production in domestic territory. We do not want to include the factor income from abroad. Okay. Any confusion here? So if you are going from national to domestic, deduct net factor income from abroad. Only the basics you have to cover. You do not have to go too much in depth. Okay. So net factor income from abroad is your factor income earned from abroad by the normal residents. Factor income minus factor income paid abroad to the non-residents. So net factor income from abroad is your factor income from abroad minus factor income to abroad. Okay, so that is net factor income from abroad. Net factor income from abroad. Now here we have discussed the term about the normal resident of a country. Okay. Now national to domestic, if you have to go from national to domestic, what do you have to do? Should we add the net factor income from abroad or should we deduct the net factor income from abroad? Just use your common sense and think that domestic production. We are talking about the production in the domestic area. So we should deduct the net factor income from abroad. Abroad we have to deduct because we are talking about domestic income. Okay. So net factor income from abroad will be deducted. Now we are going from domestic to national. Domestic to national. National, we are going to national. Okay. So what should we be doing? Add the net factor income from abroad. Easy. Okay. I have explained you the concept behind it also. I've explained you the basic idea behind it, but this is the formula that you have to keep in mind. That's it. Even if you are not focusing on the concept behind, that is also fine because only this is required. Okay. So domestic and national we have discussed. Chalo. GDP. We have the GDP. If you have to go to GNP, domestic to national. Domestic to national. Add the net factor income from abroad. Okay. So GDP in this, add the net factor income from abroad. This is the idea. So let me ask you first of all, if you are going from NDP to GDP, what is required here? Or what is the difference between GDP and NDP? No, only the first class will be available on YouTube. Roma. Okay. If you are going from NDP to GDP or GDP to NDP, the net and gross. The net and gross. So the difference is between net and gross is because of depreciation. Okay. Chalo. If you are going from factor cost to market price, what do you have to do? Add indirect taxes, deduct the subsidies. If you are going from gross to net, what do you have to do? Deduct depreciation. Very good. If you are going from national to domestic, what do you have to do? If you are going from national to domestic, deduct the net factor income from abroad. That's it. Okay. Chalo. Now, see, in our country, so basically, we have discussed about the GDP at MP. GDP can be calculated at factor cost. If we convert the G into net, and if we convert the gross into net, so we have NDP at FC, we have NDP at MP. Okay. If we convert this domestic into national, so we have GNP at MP, we have GNP at FC, we have NDP, NNP at FC and NNP at MP. So basically, by converting these terms, we can come to 8 aggregates of national income. Okay. So GDP at MP, NNP at FC. So gross to net, domestic to national, market price to factor cost. Okay. Any confusion here, first of all? That we just have to use the different terms. Okay. Now in India, in different countries, different factors or different aggregates can be used to calculate the domestic income or national income. In some countries, maybe NDP at MP is being used for domestic income and NP at FC is being used for for national income. But in India, for domestic income, we use GDP at MP. In India, for domestic income, we use GDP at MP, gross domestic product at market price. This is for domestic income or domestic product, okay? Because it is taken at domestic territory. Now, for national income, we use the term NNP at FC. This is net national product. So national income is taken at NNP at FC. Any confusion? So basically, we are taking the national income in India, we take the national income at NNP at FC, and we take the domestic income at GDP at MP. Got it? Is this clear? Yes or no? We are using NNP at FC for national income, and we are using GDP at MP for domestic income. Now try to answer this. The term national income, that is your NNP at FC, represents what? So we have to calculate NNP at FC, net national product at factor cost, through GNP at market price, GNP at market price. So gross to net, what do we have to do? Tell me from gross to net. Minus depreciation. National is same. Market price to factor cost, Deduct the indirect taxes, right? From market price to factor cost, we have to deduct the indirect taxes, add the subsidies. No, Mohit. We will discuss about this in the balance of payment chapter, okay? So right now, Upasna, what is confusing? Is there any confusion? From market price to factor cost, deduct the indirect taxes. See, there are 6 formulas in total. From factor cost to market price. From factory to market, add the indirect taxes, deduct the subsidies. From market price to factor cost, if you are going from market to factory, deduct the indirect taxes, add the subsidies. Okay. If you are going from domestic to national, add the net factor income from abroad. If you are going from national to domestic, deduct the net factor income from abroad. If you are going from gross to net, deduct depreciation. If you are going from net to gross, add depreciation. In maths or in mathematics, you have remembered like hundreds of formulas, right? In economics, these are the 6 formulas that you have to keep in mind. That's it. So what's confusing here now? If you have to convert gross national product at market price to NNP at factor cost, gross to net, gross to net, gross to net, what do you have to do? Deduct depreciation. Market price to factor cost, market price to factor cost. From market to factory, what do you have to do? From market to factory, deduct the indirect taxes, add the subsidies. Okay. So GNP at MP minus depreciation and minus indirect taxes plus subsidies. Minus indirect taxes plus subsidies. So this is NNP at FC. Any confusion, anyone till now? Yes. No confusion? Clear, Upasana? Nice. Any confusion, anyone? In YouTube also all clear? Chalo, let me give you one more. GDP at MP to NNP at FC. Let's do it stepwise manner, gross to net. Gross to net minus depreciation. Very good. Domestic to national. Domestic to national. Yes. Add net factor income from abroad. Domestic to national. Add net factor income from abroad. Market price to factor cost. Market price to factor cost. You are going from market to factory, so deduct the indirect taxes, add the subsidies. Chalo. Got it? Now, nice. Yes. So there are three methods of calculating the national income or domestic income. Okay. So there are three methods of calculating the national income or domestic income. National income, we see the national income through which aggregate? The class will go on till 10. Okay, where we let's complete this methods, then I will close the session. Now, the national income is calculated through, correct. Domestic income is calculated through, very good. In India, national income is calculated through NNP at FC, and domestic income is calculated through GDP at MP. Okay, national income is calculated through NNP at FC, and domestic income is calculated through GDP at MP. Now, we can calculate the national income or domestic income through the value added method, income method, or expenditure method. So, first of all, let's start with the income method. Now, who is earning in our country? Try to think that who is earning the money? Who are the people that are earning the money? The labor, they are earning, as well as the capital providers, they are earning, as well as who is earning the money at last? The entrepreneurs are earning the money, as well as, or who is generating the income? The labor, capital, entrepreneur, and land. So for the land or for the natural resources, there is total rent that is given. Okay. For the labor, the wages are given. For the labor, the wages are given. For the capital, the interest is given. And for the entrepreneurship, the profits are there. So the land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur, if you own the land, if you have the capital, or if you provide your labor, or if you are an entrepreneur, then you are earning the money, right? So who are earning the money in a country? The land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur, they are earning the money in the economy. Got it? So factors of production are the ones they are earning the money. They are earning the money. So wages, profit, interest, and rent is there. As well as there is something known as mixed income. There is something known as mixed income because let's say that you are self-employed. You have a bakery where you are the baker. Okay. You are the baker. You are baking the bread and the cakes and such. As well as you are also the entrepreneur who has established the bakery and will get the profit. Okay. So this is the mixed income. You are getting the income as a labor also. You are getting the income as the entrepreneur also. Got it? So if you have your own bakery, if you have your own food stall, you are the entrepreneur also who will get the profit. You are the labor also who is working also. Okay, got it? So this is known as mixed income. That from the same job, you might be earning the wages also as well as profit also. Any confusion? Anyone? So income method of calculating. See, through the income method, you first calculate NDP at FC. Through the income method, you are able to calculate NDP at FC. You are able to calculate the NDP at FC. NDP at FC includes the wages plus interest plus profit plus rent plus mixed income. So this is your NDP at FC. Okay. If you want to convert the NDP at FC into GDP at MP, because we want to calculate the domestic income. So net to gross, what do you have to do? Net to gross. Add depreciation. Very good. Domestic is same. Factor cost to market price. Factor cost to market price. Add indirect taxes. Deduct subsidies. Very good. So we have got the domestic income. So from the income method, you calculate the NDP at FC through the income method, and through this you can calculate the domestic income. Now let's say we want to calculate national income at NNP at FC. So from NDP at FC, you have to calculate NNP at FC, that is national income, domestic to national. Yes, add net factor income from abroad, from domestic to national, add net factor income from abroad. Factor cost is same, rest is same. So done. Got it? Income method, any confusion? See, income method sees the yes. Income method sees the economy from the distribution side, because the income is getting distributed, between the labor, land, capital, and entrepreneur, and the self-employed that are getting the mixed income. Okay. So basically, the income is getting distributed. So income method sees the economy from the distribution side, where the income is getting distributed between the factors of production. So that is the idea. Now, coming to the expenditure method. Any confusion anyone has in the income method? Anyone? All clear? No confusion? Very good. Chalo. Now coming to the expenditure method. Through the expenditure method, we directly calculate through the expenditure method. See, in the income method, we are calculating what? What are we getting directly? We are getting NDP at FC by adding wages plus rent plus interest plus profit plus mixed income of the self-employed. Okay. So this is the income method. Now expenditure method. In the expenditure method, the good thing is that directly we are able to calculate GDP at MP. That is, directly domestic income is coming from the expenditure method, and expenditure method is usually used by National Statistical Office to calculate GDP at MP. Okay. Through the expenditure method, we are directly able to calculate GDP at MP. And the National Statistical Office uses this expenditure method to calculate the domestic income, that is GDP at MP. Now, in the expenditure method, the basic idea you might be able to understand that the basic idea is that we are adding all the expenditure that we are doing on the domestic product, Okay. So we are calculating GDP at MP through the expenditure method. So we are adding all the expenditure to calculate GDP at MP. We are adding all the expenditure that we are doing on the domestic product. Let's say that someone is buying Korean beauty products, importing Korean beauty products, or Chinese mobile phones, or American iPhones. So is this domestic product, or this kind of expenditure that we are doing? We are buying Korean beauty products, we are spending on Chinese mobile phones, American iPhones. So this expenditure that we are doing, should it be included in GDP at MP? No. So the imports that we are doing, should it be included in the GDP at MP? No, because we only want to see the expenditure on the domestic product. Okay, so this is the basic idea that will help you to understand the concept. So expenditure method calculates GDP at MP. Whenever GDP is alone, it is GDP at MP. Okay, so expenditure method directly calculates GDP at MP. So we are seeing the expenditure that is happening on the domestic product. So we are doing the consumption expenditure. That is also known as household consumption expenditure. Okay, we are spending on vegetables, fruits, clothes, footwear. Okay, that is produced in India. So we are doing the consumption expenditure on the Indian products. Then there is something known as gross domestic capital formation. Capital formation means machinery, tools, equipments. So that is investment. Okay, or factories or buildings. So gross domestic capital formation. Now the firms as well as the households. They are they are building the houses. So that is also investment. Okay, that is also capital formation. Capital is being built, buildings are being built, houses are being built. As well as the firms, they buy the machinery, tools, equipment. Okay, so this is also investment. So investment is done by the households, or the gross domestic capital formation, domestic capital formation in the country. The capital formation or investment is happening by the households or the firms. Okay, so this is the idea. So consumption expenditure by the households, gross domestic capital formation or investment that is done by households or the firms. Now there is the something known as gross domestic fixed capital formation. Fixed investment. Fixed investment means like the houses, the assets, machinery, tools, equipments, okay, the buildings. This is the fixed capital formation or fixed investment. Plus, there is change in inventories. Inventories that are adding up. Inventories, a change in inventories. In a year, because we are seeing the GDP for a year, in a year, how much inventories have increased. In a year, what is the change in inventories? That also comes under investment. Okay. So the investment expenditure, it includes two kind of investment: gross domestic fixed investment or fixed capital formation, that is your assets, or change in inventories, plus change in inventories. So investment expenditure is your fixed investment plus change in inventories, the investments, the inventories that are being developed by the factories. Any confusion here, anyone? So consumption expenditure, directly the consumption that we are doing of the domestic product. The investment is divided into two parts: fixed investment, houses, buildings, factories; change in inventories, the inventories that the businesses are building over a time period in a year. So that is change in inventories. Change in inventories. Okay. Any confusion? Government expenditure, the government is spending for building the roads, buildings, house. The government is spending for the consumption expenditure. Also, the government is spending for buying the pen pencil for its departments, for buying table chair for its departments and such. The government is also spending for the parliamentary sessions and such. The government is also spending for the roads, infrastructure and such. Net export expenditure. So export expenditure, basically the export that we are doing, the domestic product, it is produced in the domestic territory, but we are selling the wheat, we are selling the clothes to the foreign, to US, let's say. So US is spending on the domestic product. So export expenditure is also added. Export expenditure is also added because the foreigners are spending on our products. Okay. The foreigners are spending on our products. So the US regions or the foreigners or the non-residents, they are spending on our products. The non-residents, they are spending on the domestic products. So that is why export expenditure is added, but import expenditure is deducted. That we have discussed that we will not add the import expenditure. Any confusion, anyone? So basically, let me reiterate. Consumption expenditure, that we are buying vegetables, fruits, table chair. Okay. Gross domestic capital formation or investment. So domestic investment. So investment is of two types: fixed investment, gross domestic fixed investment, warehouses, buildings, factories, okay, or change in inventories. Change in inventories. We are not talking about total inventories since 1947. No, we are talking about change in inventory, that in 1 year, because GDP is calculated for a year. So in 1 year, what is the change that has happened in the inventories? How much more inventories have been added by the farms? Okay, so change in inventories. That is investment. That is a part of investment. Government expenditure, the government is spending on the domestic product. The households are spending on the domestic product. The investment is happening in the domestic territory. Then net exports. Export expenditure minus import expenditure. So that is net export. Export expenditure minus import expenditure. So export, we are exporting our domestic product on which expenditure is happening. So we are exporting our product, our domestic product on which the foreigners are spending. Okay, minus the import expenditure. So this is calculating GDP at MP. So consumption plus investment plus government expenditure plus net exports. Okay. Net exports means exports minus imports. Now consumption investment is further divided into two parts: fixed investment plus change in inventories or change in stock, we can say. Chalo. All the final goods that are being produced in the domestic territory on which the expenditure is happening. So that is included in the GDP at MP. Okay, so the total expenditure on the final goods and services produced in the domestic territory. So expenditure that is happening on the goods and services produced in the domestic territory. So this is included in GDP at MP. Answer this. Just a second. Okay. See, let's say, Bharat, you are earning 100 rupees. Okay. Now, from this, you are spending 50 rupees. Oh, sorry, you are spending 70 rupees and you are saving 30 rupees. So, this 100 rupees that you have earned as a labor, let's say, or as a worker. So, in which method we have added this? If you remember, we have already added your total income in the income method. Okay. In the income method, we have already added your total income that you are earning as a labor or as a worker. So segregation should not be done. Okay. Done? Understood? Bharat. Even if you are saving your salary, even if you are spending your salary, in the income method, we have added all your earnings, all your money. Chalo. Gross domestic product. अच्छा ठीक है भरत. Gross domestic product estimated by expenditure method does not include the value of imports are excluded. Khushi. Okay, imports will not be included. So GDP estimated by expenditure method does not include. So GDP at MP calculated through the expenditure method include the consumption expenditure, investment expenditure, government expenditure, and net export, basically. Inventory is not included in GDP at MP because in the investment you have fixed investment and change in inventories, not total inventories. Change in inventories is there. Okay. So A, B, C, and E, they are included in the GDP at MP. Change in inventories is included in the investment itself. So the inventory is something that is not included. Total inventory is not included. Okay. Only the change in inventory is included. So this is the answer. D is the answer here because it is not included in the GDP at MP. This is the idea. Chalo. So this is the idea. GDP at MP through the expenditure method, it includes consumption plus investment plus government expenditure plus net exports, that is export minus import. Export minus import. And the investment is your fixed investment plus change in inventories, that is in 1 year how much addition has happened in the inventories, how much increase has happened in inventories. So if your inventories were 100 till 2020 and in 2021 your inventory is 115. So what is the change in inventory? 15. So the change in inventory. And what is the total inventory is 115, but the change in inventory is 15. So change in inventory or the addition in inventory is added, okay, in a year in the GDP at MP. Now, product or value added method of calculating the GDP. Okay, one more thing, like if such a kind of question comes, it will not come, but if such a kind of question come, then also remember that GDP at MP is equal to consumption plus investment plus government expenditure plus net exports. Because the investment has already been added, the total investment has been added. So you will not add the change in inventories and fixed investments separately. Because the total investment is, let's say, 100. Fixed investment is 70 and change in inventory is 30. So if you are adding the investment as 100, will you add the 70 and 30 again? Yes or no? Will you add this 70 and 30 again? No. Why? Because you have already added the total investment. So they do not have to be added separately. Okay. Similarly, if net exports is given, the export minus import is not required. If net export is 70, then you do not have to use the export or import. You can directly write net exports as 70. Okay. Chalo. Now coming to the last method, that is the product or value added method of calculating GDP. Now what happens that there was a problem of double counting. There was a problem of double counting. Let's say that the farmer is producing the wheat and in the market the wheat is being sold at rupees 6,000. There is no intermediate consumption. There is no intermediate good for the wheat production. Okay. So what is the value addition, or what is the value that is generated by the farmer? What is the value that is generated by the farmer? 6,000. Yes. Now let's say that this wheat that is being sold in the market for 6,000, this is being purchased by the flour mill owner, to produce the flour, atta. Okay, to produce the flour. Now, the flour that is being produced is of, like, the flour is being sold in the market for 8,000 rupees. So how much value is being generated by the flour mill owner? The flour mill owner is generating the value of 2,000 only, because 6,000 is the value of wheat and the wheat has been converted into flour. So the flour mill owner has added the value of 2,000, 2K. Okay, because the flour is of 8,000, but in the flour, the 6,000 is the value of wheat. So the flour mill owner is adding 2K, is adding the value of 2K. Now let's say this flour has been purchased by the baker to produce the bread. Now the bread has the value rupees 14,000 in the market. How much is the value addition done by the baker? What is the value addition done by the baker? It is 6,000 is the value addition done by the baker, because 8,000 is the value of flour and the value addition that is done by the baker is 6,000. So in the product method, or in the output method, or in the value added method, we use the value added. So in the value added method, we add the value addition that is done at each and every stage. So what is the gross value addition? This is the total value addition that is happening in the economy. Total value addition that is happening in the economy, where we take value of output and we deduct it with intermediate consumption. So this is the formula of value added method. Value of output in the market, deduct the intermediate consumption. Okay. Why is this method used? Why not just add the values? 6,000 wheat is of 6,000, flour is of 8,000, and bread is of 14,000. Add this up, it will be 28,000. It will be 28,000. Why are we not just adding the values? To avoid double counting. Very good, Aparna. To avoid double counting. Because wheat value of 6,000 has been added here. The value of wheat has been added in flour also. Okay. So we have to deduct the value of wheat. Otherwise, there will be double counting of wheat. The flour value has been added here. And in the bread also the flour has been added. So flour value has been added again. So flour value is added here. Then again the flour value is added in the bread itself. So to avoid this double counting, where wheat is counted again and again, flour is counted again and again in the value. So to avoid the double counting, wheat value is calculated here or added here. Again, the wheat value is added in the flour also. So double counting of wheat is happening. The flour value is calculated here. Then again, the flour is added for bread. So flour value is again added here. So to avoid this double counting, we take the value addition method, so that we are only seeing the value addition that is done at each and every stage, deducting the intermediate cost or intermediate consumption. Because all the wheat producer, the farmer, the flour mill owner, the baker, they all are considering their products as final product. So to avoid the double counting, we take the value addition method. At each and every stage, we see that how much value addition has been done by a particular producer. Got it? Any confusion in the value added method? Value addition is your, so what is the formula of value added? So value added refers to the addition of value. The value added refers to the addition of value to the raw material or intermediate goods, basically, by a firm by virtue of its productive activity. So value added basically means that how much value addition has been done by a producer. So value addition by farmer is 6,000, value addition by flour mill owner is 2,000, and value addition by baker is 6,000. Now this value addition is calculated basically through the value of output minus intermediate consumption. So value of output is 6,000, intermediate consumption was 0. Value of output for flour was 8,000 and intermediate consumption, because wheat has been converted into flour. Flour has been converted into bread. So intermediate consumption. I hope this is clear. Intermediate consumption is what? The wheat is the intermediate consumption for flour. And the flour has been transformed into bread. So it is intermediate consumption for bread. Okay. Any confusion in the intermediate consumption? No. Okay. So wheat is the intermediate consumption as it has converted into flour, and flour is the intermediate consumption because it has converted into bread. Okay. So value added method is basically value of output minus intermediate consumption. Clear? So through the value added method, we are calculating the gross value added at market price. Gross value added at market price is nothing else. It is GDP at MP. Just because we are calculating it through the value added method, that's why we have written GVA at MP. Okay. Otherwise, GVA at MP is nothing else. It is GDP at MP. That is all. Try to answer this question. See, till 2015, GVA, even though through the value added method, GVA is taken at GVA at MP, but till 2015, GVA at MP was converted into GVA at FC to see the production side, to see the supply side. Okay. After 2015, it was decided, or in 2015, it was decided that now we will take the GVA at basic price to see the producer side. Okay. To see the producer side. So value added method, through the value added method, we see the value of output in the market. So that's why GVA is calculated at market price. But this GVA at market price was converted into GVA at factor cost to see the producer side, to see the supply side, to see the production side. Okay. GVA at MP was converted till 2015. GVA at MP was converted into GVA at FC by deducting the indirect taxes and adding the subsidies. Till now, clear? So through the value added method, because we are taking the value of output at market price, so we are able to calculate GVA at MP. Now this GVA at MP, to see the producer side or to see the supply side or to see the side of the producers, the GVA at MP was converted into GVA at factor cost. Was converted into factor cost. Now, in 2015, it was decided that as per the international standards, rather than using GVA at FC to see the producer side, we will use GVA at basic price to see the producer side. So, the GVA at MP will be converted into GVA at basic price. Any confusion here? I will tell you that how the conversion happens, but is this clear concept? Okay. So this we will discuss again in the coming slides. Again, this is the concept that we have to discuss. But with the reference to GVA, which of the following is or are correct? So it is defined as the value of output minus the value of intermediate consumption. So value of output minus the value of intermediate consumption, or value of output minus the intermediate consumption. This is your GVA at MP. Okay, this is your GVA at MP. It is estimated, its estimate is released by NSO. So all the national income estimates or all such estimates are released by NSO only. From an economic perspective, the GVA, the gross value added, it represents the supply side or the producer side. Okay. Till 2015, GVA at MP was converted into GVA at FC. But after that, it was decided that GVA. So in 2018, you can understand that since 2015, after that, we were converting GVA at MP into GVA at basic price to see the producer side or to see the supply side. So GVA is calculated at basic prices now. So all of the above are correct. Okay. Next, try to answer this question. It refers to the portion of, so with reference to depreciation, which of the following option is or are incorrect? It refers to the portion of the capital goods that goes in maintenance and replacement of existing goods due to wear and tear. So yes, that is depreciation. To obtain net investment, to obtain net investment, depreciation is deducted, is subtracted from gross investment? Correct. If we add depreciation in the gross investment, in the gross value added, if we add depreciation, we get the net value added? No. In the gross, you have to deduct the depreciation. So this is incorrect. This is incorrect, and that's why C is the answer. Okay. Next, in an open economy, the GDP of the economy is which of the following? Yes. Consumption plus investment plus government expenditure plus export minus import. Export minus import. Okay. That is net export. So export minus import, that is your net export. So consumption plus investment plus government expenditure plus net export. C is the answer. Now there is a concept. Yes, here it is written in the new definition of the economic growth that was adopted in 2015. See, till the 2015, okay, the GVA at MP was converted into GVA at FC. Okay, so the growth, the GDP growth or the GVA is nothing else, it is GDP, gross domestic product. Okay, GVA is gross value addition or the gross domestic product. So that is GVA. GVA is nothing else, it is your GDP. Just for the producer side, we say GVA. So GVA is your GDP. GVA is from the producer side, and GDP is from your expenditure side. Okay. Now, till 2015, we were converting the GVA at MP into GVA at factor cost to see the producer side, Okay. From MP to FC, from market price to factor cost, we have to deduct the indirect taxes and add the subsidies. From market to factory, deduct the indirect taxes, add the subsidies. So we were calculating the GVA at FC to see the producer side or to see the supply side. Okay. In the revision of National Account Statistics done by Central Statistical Office in January 2015, it was decided that sector-wise GVA will now be calculated at basic prices. Okay. And for the country also, the GVA will be calculated at basic prices instead of factor cost. So it was decided that rather than calculating GVA at FC, now we will calculate GVA at basic price. GVA at basic price. Okay. So here, rather than now seeing the GVA at FC for the producer side, now we see the GVA at basic price from the producer side or supply side. This is the idea. Since 2015, as per the international standards, now we use GVA at basic price. Any confusion anyone has in this? Any confusion? So this is it for today. Now we are going to continue tomorrow. Any confusion anyone has? Okay, basic price. We will be discussing about the basic price. What is basic price? How it is calculated? So that all we will be discussing. That how you can convert in factor cost into basic price or basic price into factor cost or market price. So that we will discuss. Okay, you don't have to worry about that. All the production, like production taxes, production subsidies, I don't want to discuss it today because it will get very hectic for all of you if we discuss it today, but we have to discuss it. Okay, chalo. So basically, we will discuss that before GVA was calculated at GVA at market price was converted into GVA at base factor cost for your production side, for your supply side, but now the GVA at market price is converted into GVA at basic price. Okay, so now the producer side or supply side is seen through the GVA at basic price. We will also discuss about the conversion and so. Okay, mixed income. Yes, just a second. Mixed income is basically, let's say you have opened a bakery. You are running that bakery. So you are the entrepreneur also who will earn the profits from the bakery, as well as let's say in the bakery, you are the sole worker also. You are also the baker in the bakery. Okay, so you are earning the wages also for your labor. You are providing the labor also. In the bakery, you are providing your labor as the baker, as well as you are the entrepreneur in the bakery also. Okay, clear, Avantika? So here you are earning the mixed income. You are the entrepreneur also, you are the labor also. You will be earning the wages also, you will be earning the profits also. Yes, sure, yeah. I will share the PDF with you. Just wait a second, okay? Just a second, Bharat. Let me share the PDF first. Till then, if anyone has any confusion, you can ask. So I'm sharing the PDF. In YouTube also, if anyone has any confusion, kindly ask, okay?